Ishavashyam Upanishad comes from Yajur Veda. Isha means Ishwar or God. So this Upanishad talks about God. It begins with a very beautiful prayer. This prayer is called as a Mahavakyam or the great mantra by many saints. Okay, we can do one thing, we can experience this prayer. You can pray with me. You can close your eyes, keep your spine straight, palms open, keep your attention on top of your head, and repeat this prayer with me. Shall I start? Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamida Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamida Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Slowly open your eyes. How do you feel? You can share your feedback. So here in this prayer, Purna means full, or we can call it whole, we can call it perfect, we can call it complete. So it says that if we take out full from the full, then also the full remains. It may mean like even if the world is created out of it, the integrity of the Brahman is not affected. पूर्ण से पूर्ण निकाला जाए तो भी पीछे पूर्ण ही बचता है, और अंत में ये पूर्ण वापस मिलने से भी टोटल में भी पूर्ण ही रहता है. So here the rishi is talking something out of mathematics. Normal mathematics हमको पता है कि even if there are crores of rupees, we take out 1 rupee also, something gets reduced. Even we add 1 rupee also, something gets added up. But the rishi is talking something different. It's higher, something higher mathematics. Normal mathematics कहता, how does it goes? Like a small kid was talking to one of his friend, during this lockdown, 50% of my property is gone. It's a huge loss for me. The other boy was asking how. Actually, I was a single child of my parent, and abhi now I got a little brother. So that's a normal calculation, no? It gets reduced when we share. But problem starts happening when we use the same mentality to look into other aspects of life also. Like take example of love. If we feel that if we share, someone else's share is getting reduced, that's not a correct understanding. And that is the reason why people try to possess each other. Husband is trying to possess the wife is trying to possess the husband. All kind of relationship issues starts happening from there. There is always a feeling of lack. This mantra can be understood by that person or by you only if you have experienced true love in your life. What happens in that case? You can keep on, you can go on giving, and the more you give, the more you feel that you have. It is never ending. So you can keep on giving, and gradually you reach a state when you start loving people around you. You start loving objects around you. You become you. What you can do only, you can give love. This is what Sri Aurobindo says whenever some disciple goes to him asking about God. He says, have you ever fallen in love? So one disciple says, no, I haven't got into that trouble in my life. So he says, then it's little difficult. So in the next chapter, the Upanishad begins with Ishavashyam idam sarvam. From this Ishavashyam, the name of the Upanishad also has come. Ishavashyam idam sarvam means whatever moving, non-moving, everything exists in the world, everything is enveloped by God. Ishavashyam idam sarvam. So the world does not stand apart from God. Ishavashyam idam sarvam. Everything belongs to God, including us. The Rishi is saying, knowing this, you cannot possess. Detachment will happen to you automatically, knowing that everything belongs to God. In the Horizon Journal, Mahatma Gandhi mentions about this sutra, that everything is pervaded by God, everything belongs to Him, including us. So nothing belongs to you or nothing belongs to me. From here, essence of Karma Yoga starts. This is the root from where even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gave teachings of Karma Yoga to Arjuna. Here it talks about na karma lipyante nare. How can an action be done without getting attached to the fruit of action, or how can we perfect the Karma Yoga? Na karma lipyante nare. The Rishi is saying it is basically our identification as a doer that creates the karmic bondage. If you look into it really, we are not the doer. So doership is an illusion. This is what this Upanishad is telling. Just let us think, is it from the childhood, you can reflect with, if you can bring little awareness inside. We say I was born, we say the person is dead, but birth and or death, is it a happening or is it a doing? So in between birth and death, many things happens to us. Say for example, if love happened to you, you will say ki it is not I did, it had happened to me. What about anger? Does it happen to you? What about hunger? Bhukh. What about sleep? What about next day waking up from the sleep? Are we doing it or it is happening to us? Once you were a child, you grow up, become an adult, then once you will become a old person also. With childhood comes innocence, with adulthood comes sexual desire and ambitions, with old age comes a sense of renunciation. So these are natural, it is happening to us. There is nothing to be proud about it, or there is nothing to feel guilty about it. Then you may ask, where is my free will? Free will come only when you are neither attached nor in a situation of aversion. When you are in the middle, when you are detached, then only we can practice free will. So the Rishi is telling na karma lipyante nare, and by doing sasra vihita karma, work as per scriptures, you don't get into a bondage of karma. he's saying the sense of doership is an biggest illusion. Everything is being done by God. The moment you are able to see it and you are able to detach yourself as a doer, you are able to renounce the doership, you become a perfect karma yogi. Sastra Vihita karma. What is Sastra Vihita karma? Karma is the action as per scriptures. We can understand this with the help of modern psychology also. I think you have heard about Carl Gustav Jung. He is a psychoanalyst, very well known among psychologists after Sigmund Freud. So he divides humans in broadly into two categories. One is extrovert, another is introvert. Remember, no one is 100% extrovert or 100% introvert. A person can be maximum 90% introvert, 10% extrovert, or vice versa. So extrovert is a person whose energy naturally flows towards outside, and introvert is a person whose energy flows naturally towards inside. So for an extrovert, karma yoga is a right action. For an introvert, Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, is a right action. For an extrovert, service is a religion. Here service means performing action dedicating to God or for the welfare of the people. And for an introvert, meditation is a religion. So you can check what kind of person you are, and you can find out your Sastra Vihita karma. Now this question may come into your mind: how can you perform action? Because the Rishi is saying कि you cannot renounce action. कर्म तो आपको करना ही पड़ेगा, but you have to perform action without being a doer. How can we do it? This question may come into your mind. So I'll give you some examples here. One is you have seen people who are acting in a drama or in a movie. They perform the action, they do the action, but they do not get identified with the character. Another example can be like, I have a family, I need to work, I have children, I need to work to support them, to nourish them. Now there are two ways I can do it. I can think, okay, it is my job, it is my responsibility to nourish them and support them, that's why I work. And if I'm successful in doing that, I may be happy, I may feel happy, I may develop pride also. And if I do not become successful, I may feel sad and even develop low self-esteem also. But if in the other hand, if I think this family is actually the family of God, because everyone is a children of God, and the child of mine is actually the child of God, he or she has came through me, I am just a medium, and since it is a family of God, it is a duty of God actually to take care of them. So I am just as an instrument, I am taking care of them on behalf of God. Now externally I'll be doing the same action that I have been doing, but internally something will change in me gradually and gradually. If you can try doing this gradually and gradually, you will have a sense of peace inside you. So this is one of the example how we can perform normal action dedicating to God. So with this I stop here. This is in short study of Ishavashyam Upanishad. Hope you liked it. Please share your feedback. For me, the take-home message from this Upanishad is understanding that everything is enveloped by God, and performing action dedicating to God. Thank you. We'll see you again. Atma Namaste.